Hello everyone. Today I'm here again with another part of arithmetic progression. In today's session I'm going to discuss the problems based on nth term of an AP. As in our last session we have discussed about the basics and the formula to find nth term of an AP. So let's start with the discussion of the question. So the first question is, in the following AP find the missing term. So it has been given that 5, then second term and third term is missing and the fourth term is 9.5. We have to find the second and third term here. So in this case, the AP is 5 and the fourth term is 9.5. In this case, A is 5 and A4 is 9.5, which we can also write it as 19 upon 2. Now, if we know the ANth term formula, so ANth term is what? It is A plus n minus 1 into D, where A is the first term and D is the common difference. So taking the fourth term, we have now A4 is 19 upon 2. That means A4 we can write it as A plus 4 minus 1, that is 3 into D equals to 19 upon 2. When we substitute the value of A, which is 5 plus 3D equals to 19 upon 2, that implies 3D will be equals to 19 upon 2 minus 5, which is 19 minus 10 upon 2, that is 9 upon 2. On solving, we'll get D equals to 3 upon 2. So therefore, the second term will be A plus D, and that is 5 plus 3 upon 2, which will be 13 upon 2, and A3 is A plus 2D, which is 5 plus 6 upon 2, which will be 8. The next question is, check whether minus 150 is a term of AP 11, 8, 5, 2 or not. So in this case, we have A equals to 11. Common difference will be 8 minus 11, which is minus 3. We'll take let AN is minus 150. Let us suppose it is the term of that sequence. Now, if we use the nth term formula, which is A plus n minus 1 into D, which is minus 150, the value of A is 11 plus n minus 1, common difference is minus 3, which will be minus 150, which we can write it as 11 minus 3n plus 3 equals to minus 150, which will be 14 minus 3n equals to minus 150, and then we can write it as 3n equals to 14 plus 150, which will be 164. That means n equals to 164 upon 3, which will be approximately 54.6. So here we can say that since the number of terms cannot be negative or fraction, so we can say since n cannot be in fraction, therefore minus 150 is not a term of the given AP. Moving to the next question, we have two APs have the same common difference. The difference between their 100th term is 100. What is the difference between their 1000 terms? So to solve this question, we'll take let A and A dash be the first terms of two APs and D be their common difference. As common difference is same in both the cases. So here it is given that A 100 minus A100 dash is 100. We are taking A100 for the 100 term of first AP and A100 dash as the 100 term of second AP. Now A100 we can write it as A plus 99D minus A100 dash will be A dash plus 99D, which is 100. On solving we'll get A minus A dash equals to 100 as 99D will get cancelled, which is equation number 1. Now we have to find the difference between their 1000 term. So A 1000 minus A 1000 dash, which will be A plus 999D minus A dash plus 999D. Again on solving here, 999D will get cancelled. We'll get A minus A dash, whose value we already know is 100. And that will be the answer of it. So in this type of question, whether they say 100 term or 1000 term, the value will be same. The next question is, how many multiples of 4 lie between 10 and 250? So to solve this type of question, we need to read the questions very carefully, because sometimes the question will be between the two numbers, sometimes it will be from a number x to the number y. So when we talk about between the two numbers, that means the two numbers, the boundary values will be excluded in that sequence, even if it satisfies the condition. Whereas if you take about the from case, then the boundary value has to be included if it satisfies the given condition as per the question. In this case, we have 10 and 250 as the boundary values, and we know here none of the 10 and 250 is divisible by 4, so that problem will not be there in this type of questions. So here, when we generate the sequence, as the first term after 10 is divisible by 4 will be 12, the next term will be 16, 20, and so on. Now we want to know that what is the last term before 250 which is divisible by 4. So for that case, you can divide 250 by 4 and subtract the remainder from 250. So here, if you'll divide 250 by 4, you'll get remainder as 2. So the last term will be 248. Now as we have the sequence, we have here A equals to 12, common difference is 4, and A another term is 248. We have to find out how many multiples of 4 lie between these two numbers. So we'll substitute the value of formula an, that is A plus n minus 1 into d, which is 248. The value of A is 12 plus n minus 1, common difference is 4, which is 248. Now we'll solve. We'll get 12 plus 4n minus 4 equals to 248, which will be 4n plus 8 equals to 248. And on solving, we'll get 4n equals to 248 minus 8, which is 240. And so n will be 240 upon 4, that is 60. So we can say, therefore, there are 60 multiples of 4 are between 10 and 250. The next question is, for what value of n are the nth term of two APs 63, 65, 67 and so on, and 3, 10, 17 and so on are equal? So to solve this type of question, what we are going to do is we'll find nth term of both the APs and we'll equate them in order to find the value of n. So here, if you take the first AP, we'll take the first term of it as A, which is 63, and D, which is 65 minus 63, which will be 2. Now here, if you take an, it will be A plus n minus 1 into D, which will be 63 plus n minus 1 into 2, and we'll get on solving here 63 plus 2n minus 2, that will be 61 plus 2n. Also, if you'll talk about the second AP, which is 3, 10, 17 and so on, we'll take the first term of it as capital A, which is 3. We'll take the common difference as capital D, which will be 10 minus 3, which is 7, and nth term we'll take it as an, which is a plus n minus 1 into d. So when you substitute the value, we'll get 3 plus n minus 1, and the common difference is 7, which will be 3 plus 7n minus 7, which will give 7n minus 4. Now, as in the question, it is given that their nth terms are equal, so we'll equate an, and an value will get 61 plus 2n, which will be equals to 7n minus 4, and so 7n minus 2n will be equals to 61 plus 4, will get 5n equals to 65, which will give n equals to 65 upon 5, that will be 13. So that means when we take the 13th term of both the APs, then their values will be equal. The next question is, find the 20th term from the last term of the AP 3, 8, 13 and so on up to 253. So here what we can do is, we'll write the AP in the reverse sequence and then we'll find 20th term from the beginning in the case of reverse sequence, which will give our required answer. So the given AP is 3, 8, 13 and so on 253. The AP obtained after reversing the sequence will get 253 will become the first term as it is the last term in the original AP. Then the term just before it will be 248. So that we can write here 248, 243 and so on. It will be 13, 8 and 3. Now here the first term will become 253. Common difference will be 248 minus 253, that will be minus 5. And now we can find the 20th term. So a, and we know that it is a plus n minus 1 into d. So a 20th term will be a plus 20 minus 1, that will be 19 into d, and a is given 253 plus 19 into minus 5, which will be 253 minus 95, that will be equals to 158, and that will be the answer. So we can say, therefore 20th term from the end will be equals to 158. You can also solve this question directly using the formula, that is a 20th term from the last can be obtained by finding here first the total number of terms and then taking it as a n minus k plus 1th term, where n will be the total number of terms present in this sequence and k will be 20. So the first thing what you'll have to do is you'll have to find n in case if you are trying to use that formula. The next question is, Subba Rao started work in 1995 at an annual salary of 5,000 rupees and received an increment of rupees 200 each year. In which year did his income reach to rupees 7,000? So here he started with a salary of rupees 5,000, which will be the first term. So we can write A as rupees 5,000. He received an annual increment of 200. So D will be 200, and his income reached to 7,000 rupees. So we'll take AN equals to 7,000. Now we'll take an formula and we'll solve it. So an is a plus n minus 1 into d, which is 7,000 here. The value of a is 5,000 plus n minus 1, common difference is 200, which is 7,000, which we can write it as n minus 1 into 200 will be 7,000 minus 5,000, which means 200 into n minus 1 will be 2,000. So n minus 1 will become 10, and therefore n will become 10 plus 1, which will be 11. That means after 11 years, his income reached to 7,000. So therefore, after 11 years, his income reached to rupees 7,000. The next question is, the sum of 4th and 8th terms of an AP is 24 and the sum of the 6th and 10th terms is 44. Find the first 3 terms of the AP. So in this case, let the first term be A and common difference be D. So as per the first statement, it is saying that the sum of 4th and 8th term. So according to the question, what we'll get is A4 plus A8 is 24. Now we know that nth term formula is an equals to a plus n minus 1 into d. So A4 will become a plus 3d and A8 will become a plus 7d, which will be 24, and that can be written as 2a plus 10d equals to 24. Further, it can be written as a plus 5d equals to 12 by taking 2 common and cancelling it. Also, it is given that the sum of the 6th and 10th terms. So that means A6 plus A10 will be equals to here 44. A6 we can write a plus 5d and A10 we can write a plus 9d, which will be 44. That can be written as 2a plus 14d equals to 44, and then again taking 2 common and cancelling it, will get a plus 7d equals to 22. That is equation number 2. Now, on subtracting equation number 1 from 2, so on subtracting 1 from equation number 2, what we'll see is a and a will get cancelled. 7d minus 5d will be 2d, and 22 minus 12 will be equals to 10, which means d will be equals to 5. And so from equation number 1, we can say a will be equals to 12 minus 5d, which means 12 minus 5 into 5, that will be 25, and the value of a will become minus 13. Now, the 3 terms will be a. 1 will be a, that is minus 13. A2 will be a plus d, which will be minus 13, and plus 5, that is minus 8, and A3 will be equals to a plus 2d, that will be minus 13 plus 10, that is minus 3. Therefore, terms are minus 13, minus 8, and minus 3. So these are the terms of the sequence. The next question is, which term of AP 121, 117, 113 and so on is the first negative term? So when such question comes where they are asking the first negative term, what we'll do is, we'll take let an is less than 0, as we are looking for the first negative term. Now we know the formula of an is a plus n minus 1 into d, which is less than 0. In this sequence, the value of a is 121 plus n minus 1. The common difference value will be 117 minus 121, which will be minus 4 less than 0, which will be 121 minus 4n plus 4 less than 0, which we can write it as 125 minus 4n less than 0, which we can write it as 125 less than 4n, which can be written as 125 upon 4 is less than n. Remember, here we are dividing both sides by positive number, so sign of inequality will not change. In case if you divide it by negative number, the sign of inequality will reverse. So here 125 upon 4 is 31.25. So here the value of n is greater than 31.25, and we know the number of term cannot be fraction. So next term after 31.25 will be 32, and that will be the first negative term. So therefore n equals to 32. And so we can say that therefore 32nd term is the first negative term. So this is all for this particular session. In the next session, we'll be discussing about sum of n terms of AP and the problems based on it. Thank you. Take care, everyone.